Chapter 21 of Just for Juniors, Little Talks to Little Folks by Rev. Gerald T. Brennan. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Maria Therese. Chapter 21 The Man Who Hated God. Would you like to hear a true story this morning? Every word of the story is true. Of course, I can't tell you the real name of the man in the story, so we're going to call him Eddie White. When Eddie White was a boy, he went to a Catholic school and served as an altar boy. He was a fine worker, and all the sisters and priests liked Eddie. He said his prayers, went to Mass every Sunday, and received Holy Communion often. God and Eddie were very good friends. After Eddie left school, however, he began to change. He became careless. He seldom said his prayers, missed Mass often, and hardly ever received Holy Communion. Time and time again his parents talked to Eddie. His parents talked to him and warned him that he was doing wrong. But Eddie wouldn't listen. He was too busy, he told his parents, having a good time. He didn't have any time for God. Now, God was very patient with Eddie. Even though Eddie had changed, God did not change. God still loved him. When Eddie was 21, he left home. He traveled far and wide and even crossed the ocean. No matter where he went, Eddie never said any prayers. He never went to Mass. He forgot all about God. No wonder he had bad luck. He had job after job, but somehow he was never successful. He never seemed to get ahead. Then Eddie began to grumble. He began to complain. He blamed God because he was not successful. He blamed God for his failures. He blamed God for everything. "Oh, I hate God! I hate Him!" he cried out one day in a fit of anger. Eddie White hated God. That was a terrible thing for him to say. But God did not hate Eddie, because God never hates anyone. God still loved Eddie even though he had made a terrible mistake. After months of traveling, Eddie returned home. It was the same story. No prayers, no Mass, no Holy Communion. His parents begged him to return to God, but Eddie refused to listen. Then one day, Eddie became very sick. For weeks he suffered terrible pain. He became weaker and weaker, and through all his sufferings he refused to pray. When the priest came to visit, Eddie refused to see him. Eddie's parents, however, did not lose hope. They prayed every day and begged God to hear their prayers. God did hear their prayers and answered them. "Mother," said Eddie one morning, "I'm very sick, and I did a lot of thinking last night. Please send for the priest." Within half an hour the priest was at Eddie's bedside. The two men talked for a long time, and when they finished, Eddie felt better. Yes, Eddie went to confession, received Holy Communion and extreme unction, and the last blessing. Eddie was very happy. Once again, God and Eddie were friends. After the priest left, Eddie was alone for some minutes. He prayed as he had never prayed before, prayers of thanks to God who had been so good to him. As he was praying, his father and mother entered the room. The parents did not speak, but after some moments Eddie broke the silence. "I'm at peace with God," he said. "I have received the sacraments, but I haven't yet saved my soul. Get busy with the rosary and help me." Both parents, kneeling at the side of the bed, took turns saying the rosary, and Eddie joined them. All through that day hundreds of Hail Marys went up to heaven. "Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death." Those were the last words Eddie spoke. He died at 5 o'clock. Children, I feel very sure that God and His Blessed Mother heard those prayers. Eddie White had a happy death, and I know that he is in heaven this morning. Some day you may have a chance to help someone get to heaven. You may be in a home where someone is dying. Don't think that just because the dying person has received the last sacraments he has saved his soul. That's the time when the devil is very busy trying to tempt the dying person. You should help the dying person to save his soul by doing just what Eddie's parents did. When a person is dying, get down on your knees and pray. Help the dying person to pray, and pray that he may have a happy death. When a person is dying, children, very often he is so weak and tired that he cannot pray himself. But you can help him. The dying person may not be able to say the words, but he will hear you say the words, and your prayers will help him to think about God. Then, too, your prayers for the dying person will shorten his time in purgatory. So don't stand around and watch a person die. Help the person to die well. Say the rosary. Say any prayers. But above all, pray. End of chapter 21.